While notorious church Kwasizabantu Mission outside Durban has dismissed allegations of rape, human rights abuse and money laundering against it as a smear campaign, the CRL Commission will today hold hearings on the matter. Journalists and the victims of abuse will be interviewed in an effort to get to the bottom of what happened. This follows a 7-month investigation by News24 in which former members of the institution came forward with stories of abuse, molestation and rape. The Hawks are also investigating allegations of fraud against the church. For more insight and the form that these hearings will take place, let's bring in Chair of the CRL Commission, that's Professor David Mosoma, who joins us now via our telephone line. Prof, thanks very much for your time. Welcome to the AM Report. Let me begin by ascertaining the context in which the CRL Commission is stepping into the story. What do you know to be happening at Kwasizabantu?
For now, we have received a number of documents from the church. We have received also statements from the witnesses or the victims. But this is the time to begin to drill down, to probe the allegations, whether they are true or not true, but listen to both sides to come to some understanding what actually transpired, at what point and how. That is the purpose of this investigation. In terms of the Act number 19 of 2002, Section 5.1, which mandates the CRL to investigate any action or any issue that comes to its attention, especially those that violate, in this respect, the religious rights of communities or individuals. While there are elements of human rights, there are also religious rights involved here.
Absolutely. For better or for worse, Prof, this is not the first time we're actually hearing of these types of violations for any institution in the country. Is there anything in particular that makes this particular case perhaps stand out or require extra attention, given, I guess, the scale of the allegations that are being leveled against this particular church?
Well, I think in most cases, including this one, is the extent to which the violation of human dignity has become so rampant in our country. You see, when you have a constitution that protects the dignity of human beings, and any activity that goes contrary to that, you're actually not violating a small right of individuals. Is the totality and the rejection of what the Constitution provides. So it's very central to our investigation as the Commission. The extent to which the religious institution, this one in particular and others that may follow later, is the extent to which the Constitution has been put aside and never worry about it, that human beings can be treated anyhow as they wish, like property or like things. And this for us is what we totally would not want to see happening in our country.
What's interesting about these particular hearings, Prof, is that you're actually asking journalists as a start to come forward to weigh in on what they know. What are you hoping to get out of, particularly people who've been tracking the story in that capacity as you begin these hearings?
This, for the first time, is to show that the investigation is one that would bring in expertise at all levels. And this is the first time I think CRL is collaborating with the media. People who are on a daily basis are tracking these issues. And they will help us to understand, in terms of connecting the dots, the facts on the ground, and how they came to those conclusions that form the documentary, for example, for on their side. And how did they come to that? At least linking evidence and activities and individuals in this regard.
And of course, hearings take different forms sometimes. I wonder whether, as the hearings take place, people who, I guess, have enough courage to speak out are also able to come forward and, I guess, put their case forward. I mean, take us through practically what the program might look like. Are you calling on victims? Are victims coming forward to state their case? How exactly is that going to pan out?
what has happened is that upon hearing these particular allegations coming to our attention, and we saying using the media and other platforms to call on the affected individuals, we got a lot of interest by people who are part of that infrastructure. Some as far abroad as overseas who want to engage us through the visual platform to understand what these issues are. So it's a widespread interest of people who want to come. Like this morning, one of the community radios wants to come and say, listen, I've been doing this on my own. So we want to understand this. But at the same time, we are going to meet the church, listen to the church, their side of the story. Despite the fact that they send us also the documents, their own documents, their own affidavits from their own people and things like that. That maze of information we have to dig through in order to establish what the facts are and what the truth is in all of that.
And what then becomes the final objective of these hearings, Prof? I imagine another report with recommendations?
Well, it's a recommendation. And where matters are more of criminal nature, we refer to the organs of state because we don't have the powers to arrest anybody and imprison anybody. We refer to those organs of state with recommendations. And of course, we'll inform the portfolio committee to which we work hand in hand in Parliament about what we are doing, because this is a national issue across the board.
Yeah, I am out of time, Prof, but very quickly, how long are you expecting the hearings to continue?
We will be here for 3 days. And we'll be in Johannesburg for another 2 days after this. And, of course, if possible, we'll go to Cape Town. And maybe in the next 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks in maximum, we'll be able to give some indication of what things are.
All right. Certainly no overstating why there's public interest in this. Thanks very much for helping us understand, I guess, the scaffolding in which this will all take place. That is Professor David Mosoma, who's the CRL Commission chair. CRL Commission now launching hearings following allegations of widespread human rights violations at the Kwasizabantu Mission in KZN.